Morning. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? First of all, let me say thank you to our friends at the media, and then thank you to all of our team members, to our sponsors, and everyone who supports the event. Thank you. So it's classic time in Columbus, Ohio. We're here to tell you today about an opportunity to experience college football in the African American tradition. And so we're going to talk about Classic for Columbus today. It is a week-long celebration of educational, existential, cultural, and entertainment festivities that complements a rivalry football game between Central State and Kentucky State. And of course, what would a Classic be without the Battle of the Bands and the drum line? Wow, what fun we're going to have here at Columbus in August. The last week of August each year, all roads lead to Columbus, Ohio. And of course, that starts this August from the 25th through the 29th. Now, it's said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And almost, 30 years ago today, Perrine Hill brought me on board, and we teamed up with the King Arts Complex here in Columbus, and we launched what became the Honda Capital City Classic. We did that at the Horseshoe in conjunction with the Ohio State University. And then from, for the past 30 years, we've been doing classics across Ohio with great success. So why don't I stop talking now? Let's just take a few minutes and look at one of the classics, because it's exactly what will be coming to Columbus in August. So take a look at what Columbus is going to celebrate in August.
The excitement of the 2003 Procter Gamble Ohio Classic proved to be even bigger than anticipated. The game at Cleveland Brown Stadium drew no fewer than 45,000 fans. The football matchup between two historically black colleges, Hampton and Tuskegee Universities, was the nucleus for a week full of events unprecedented in Cleveland.
If you love historically black colleges and universities like I do, stand up and pump it up one time.
Cleveland Mayor Jane Campbell says she was excited about the Ohio Classic coming to town from the moment she got the call.
This is more than a football game between two historic black colleges. This is an event, a series of events. This is more than even a whole weekend of entertainment, music, educational support.
Have you taken the ACT or SAT?
Hundreds of local students were exposed to historically black colleges and other educational opportunities through a college fair. Much of the money generated by the Classic goes to scholarships and money to help black colleges.
It's about football and it's about marching bands, true, but the most important thing is that we are signing students up to get them ready for their future goals, to meet their goals and their challenges.
What better way to experience black college life than attending the Greek Step Show, so popular that the lines to get in stretched for blocks. But once inside, it was well worth the wait. Fraternities and sororities show what they're made of. And we can't forget the drumline competition as drummers from the Hampton and Tuskegee marching bands go head-to-head. The Ohio Classic thrust the city of Cleveland into the national spotlight. The game aired nationally on BET, as well as the BET Soundstage tailgate party held right before the game.
I've been in line since 11 o'clock last night.
Hundreds of people braved the pouring rain to take part in a live broadcast on one of the hottest radio programs around. The Fly Jock, Tom Joyner, broadcast his morning radio show live from Cleveland with singers, comedians, and just a lot of music and fun. The Ohio Classic was not just a boom for Cleveland's image, it created an economic boost as well. The Classic ranks 7th out of 50 classics in terms of attendance. The events raised more than $500,000 in financial support for black colleges and scholarships. 5,000 students got a chance to network with African-American professionals and educators, and the weekend funneled at least $15 million into Northeast Ohio's economy.
We expect people to visit all the parts of Cleveland, get a chance to get to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, get into the flats, see all the museums, enjoy the sights and sounds of Cleveland.
Cleveland nightclubs were packed. Restaurant owners had their plates full, and hotels were booked solid.
The reservations came in very fast, and the minute they announced the Classic was going to be here in Cleveland, the phone started ringing the very next day. They came in fast and furious, and they got to the point where we sold out.
The Classic was a phenomenal success, even though organizer John Pace had less than 5 months to prepare after he could no longer hold the event in Cincinnati.
But we were able to work with the community, establish those relationships. We didn't have to do much reaching out because everyone was reaching in saying, how can we be a part? How can we make this a success?
I would say that it probably would have to rank as one of the largest, most successful economic impact boost as a event the Greater Cleveland has had.
The Classic's primary sponsor, Procter Gamble, continues to be an integral part of its success while greatly benefiting from the exposure.
Procter & Gamble shares our commitment to diversity, and they've demonstrated the commitment by contributing over $1.5 million over the past few years. And so they've put their money where their mouth is.
Let me begin by recognizing some of our community partners. Now, the Classic has over 20 community partners. I want to recognize some of them who are here today. Ohio Black Expo, Keys to Black Wealth, Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, the Links, Links Incorporated, I should say the Twin Rivers chapter of Links Incorporated, as well as our 2 local alumni chapters, the Central Ohio chapters of Central State, as well as Kentucky State. So thank you so much, everyone. Let's get started. So first, I want to introduce Senator Sandra Williams. Senator Williams has been a part of the Classic for 17 years, going back to when it was held in her city. She is an outstanding senator now, and so it's my pleasure at this time to introduce Senator Sandra Williams. She represents the 21st District in Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you, John, and thank you all so much for having me today. I am so happy to be here participating in this event. I have supported John Pace and the HBCU Classic in past years and continue to be a supporter. When the Classic was in the city of Cleveland, I had never in my 40 some odd years saw African Americans come together the way they did for the Classic in Northeast Ohio. We were able to bring people in from across the state and outside of the state of Ohio, and it really had an economic benefit to our region. So not only will the Classic produce much needed scholarships for students across Ohio, it will also grant African Americans across this state the opportunity to participate economically and socially. If you believe in diversity, if you believe in inclusion and equity, you must support this Classic. The Classic can be a step in the right direction to make Ohio an appealing state for businesses and young professionals, because young people are always looking for something positive and fun to do. I can speak from personal experience about the HBCU Classic, and I can tell you right now, it deserves your support. If you believe in what the Classic is about, please consider supporting this event. I'm Senator Sandra Williams. I'm happy to be here supporting the HBCU Classic and John Pace, and I cannot wait until this event happens. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Senator Williams. Next, events, programs cannot operate without funding and support. And oftentimes, organizations are reluctant to support event until they see it, kick the tires. But I am just so happy and honored that Nationwide has deemed Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide, worthy of support. And so at this time, it is my pleasure to bring to you the Assistant Vice President at Nationwide University, right? It is a university, but at Nationwide. And they are our presenting sponsor, Lou Yarborough II.
Well, thank you so much, John. It is an honor to be here with you all today. And as he said, my name is Lou Yarborough. I'm the Associate Vice President of Enterprise Diverse and Cause Marketing here at Nationwide. And on behalf of our CEO, Kurt Walker, and our Chief Marketing Officer, Ramon Jones, I'd like to say welcome and thank you for joining us here today. Nationwide has had a long history of promoting scholarship and economic empowerment for diverse communities across the country. And being the presenting sponsor of the Classic for Columbus gives us an opportunity to demonstrate that commitment here in our great hometown of Columbus, Ohio. We're also excited to share that as part of our sponsorship, it will include contributions to the HBCUs that will be participating in this year's event and activities. You know, at Nationwide, we know firsthand about the amazing talent that HBCUs produce, because we have associates here at Nationwide who are proud HBCU alumni at every level of our organization. So we are looking forward to the Classic for Columbus, and we invite others to join us in supporting this showcase of what makes the HBCU experience so special for so many people. So again, thank you for joining us today. And remember, Nationwide is on your side.
Thank you so much, Lou. Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide. And now it is indeed an honor that we have with us this morning the new and esteemed president of Central State University, Dr. Jack Thomas. And I'm telling you, he's full of energy. He has a strategic plan that will take Central State to the next level. And Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide, is just proud to be a part of that plan. Dr. Jack Thomas, president of Central State University.
Thank you, John, and good morning to all. As stated, I'm Dr. Jack Thomas. I am the 9th president of Central State University. This is my first year here, and I'm excited to be at the helm of this academy. Central State University is excited to be a part of the resurrection of this Columbus Classic. And classics are very proud traditions amongst our historically Black colleges and universities. We all look forward to the excitement. We look forward to the events, tailgating, which is always exciting, and friendly competitive spirit that these events offer. The opportunity to engage our capital city of Columbus as the only public HBCU in the state of Ohio is tremendous. We are very thankful for the unique opportunity for people to come together, and we look forward to being a part of continuing this historic and proud tradition of HBCUs. And when I say proud tradition, Central State University has a proud tradition. When you look back in the history of this great institution, you go back to the 80s and 90s, coaches like Coach Billy Joe and coaches like Rick Comagy, they have won national championships for this institution when we look at football. So we are very proud, and we look forward to our new coach, Coach Bobby Rome, doing some great things. And as I always say, when we bring people to Central State University to lead in programs like football, we want to win and we want to win national championships. And I want to thank my outstanding AD, Ms. Tara Owens, for her wonderful leadership here at Central State University. So we're proud here, and we have a proud tradition, and we look forward to participating in the Columbus Classic. So thank you for having us here today.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide. Let us give you a few quick facts that you'll want to note. First of all, I'd like to talk about a few of the benefits of the Classic. Over $300,000 will be raised for scholarships and support for the participating universities. Over 1,000 inner city youth will benefit from seeing a stadium filled with accomplished African Americans who can serve as role models and mentors. There will be 3 news cycles that will brand Columbus and brand Ohio as a great place to visit, live, and work. And then the $10 million economic impact. Now that may be adjusted depending on where we are with COVID-19 in August, but it's projected that this event will bring about a $10 million economic impact to Columbus at a time when it is truly needed. And then last, but certainly not least, the communities around Ohio, particularly those African-American communities, will gain social capital and agency by leading an event that brings such an economic impact. Very quickly, the geographic market for this event, a 350-mile radius around Columbus. And we already have commitments from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, from West Virginia, from Kentucky, largely because Kappa Alpha Psi will be holding a conference here in conjunction with the Classic. So we're very excited about the Classic, as you can tell. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Douglas Allen II, and he is the Executive Vice President at Kentucky State University.
Good morning. Thank you, John. Really appreciate it. Kentucky State is extremely proud to be able to share in such a wonderful experience with Central State. I would like to say too, on behalf of our President, Dr. M. Christopher Brown II, he does bring greetings. He is unable to attend. He is traveling on a prior engagement with Dr. Thomas. He said he will touch base with you as well. So again, Kentucky State, we have a rich tradition here. We're excited to be able to attend such a beautiful city in Columbus. And we look forward to just, again, the fun, the fellowship, a great game. We understand the fiscal impact that this Classic has on the state of Ohio. We greatly appreciate the opportunities for scholarships that this is bringing forth. Again, everyone's been kind of cooped up for a while due to the pandemic, so it's always nice for everyone to be able to get out and just share a great experience. And again, we thank you on behalf of Kentucky State University.
Thank you so much, Douglas Allen. What an opportunity. Experience the sights and sounds of college football in the African-American tradition at Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide. Now, we have educational events, we have existential events, cultural events. The Classic is far more than a football game. There are 2 year-round programs. Now, it's very interesting that when you build a wonderful program like this Classic, it's sustainable and it will withstand the test of time. And so 30 years ago, we started this right here in Columbus, Ohio, and it's back, and technology just makes it more powerful instead of making it antiquated. So right now we want to introduce to you one of the 42-1 award recipients. Each year, the Classic will present the 42-1 award to someone from the sports world and someone who is out of the sports world, both of whom have been coaches in the community, inspiring and teaching. And so at this time, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Rudy Hubbard, Coach Rudy Hubbard. Coach Rudy Hubbard played running back at The Ohio State University, then became the first African-American coach at The Ohio State University, and then went on to be the head coach at Florida A&M University, where he won 2 Black college championships. But equally important, he's very inspirational, and he is a teacher of young people, molding them into great adults. And it is for that reason that he is going to receive the Buster Douglas 42-1 award. Now, you all might remember Buster Douglas, the former world heavyweight boxing champion from Columbus, Ohio, who overcame 42-1 odds when he knocked out the seemingly invincible Mike Tyson to become the champion. And Buster overcame those 42-1 odds, and he's recognizing others who are just struggling and fighting and winning against all odds, but also being pillars in the community. So at this time, I am past honored to introduce the first 42-1 recipient for sports in the world of sports, Coach Rudy Hubbard.
Well, thank you so much, John, for the recognition. I am so honored to be the first recipient of the 42-1 award. I am certainly familiar with Buster Douglas and the fight, having been a fight fan back in those days, and certainly sitting there watching that fight, was so excited to see Buster Douglas take the honors, and has done very well since. Of course, a good friend of mine, the manager of Buster Douglas at the time, John Johnson, was a member of the coaching staff with me at Ohio State. And we worked very closely together. So it was such an honor for me to watch those guys participate, but not only participate, but to win. This is really, really special for me. Ohio has always been special. I'm from Ohio, and of course, my connection with Ohio State University and my connection with Florida A&M University has been very special to me. So this award is something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life, of course. And I'm so honored that you guys have picked me, and I'll do my best to do it the greatest honor possible.
Thank you so much, Coach Hubbard. The other award recipient is Dr. Robert Merritt, who is the head, one of the head physicians at the Ohio State University Wexner Center. And so you'll meet him later, but he is a phenomenal individual as well. This all supports the Classic for Columbus presented by Nationwide mission. And our mission is to promote education, economic development, and diversity while raising funds for education and institutions of higher learning. And so the Classic is proud to announce today that there will be a scholarship in honor of Rudy Hubbard. And that scholarship will be presented to a senior at an HBCU to continue their education at The Ohio State University. So congratulations, Coach Hubbard and Dr. Merritt, the first 42-1 recipients.
Thank you.
At this point in time, the Classic has many partners who roll their sleeves up and really get the job done. And we started meeting late last April, and we wanted to be part of Ohio's economic recovery after COVID-19. And several weeks after we started meeting, the George Floyd incident happened, which served to magnify the importance, and it served as a value multiplier for the importance of this event. And the community just came together. We were having 30 and 40 people at meetings, and they were going away, rolling up their sleeves and getting the work done. And they got so excited that they were calling me at 5 and 6 in the morning, and we would have conversations to plan this event. And so one of the partners who have really rolled up their sleeves to help get the job done is the Greater Columbus Sports Commission. And you all may know they just did a fantastic job with the Division II Women's Final Four, which ended here yesterday. And so we should all congratulate the Sports Commission on the work that they are doing. And so at this point in time, it's a pleasure for me to introduce one of the leaders at the Sports the Sports Commission here, Celia Anderson.
Good morning. I am Celia Anderson, Director of Business Development at the Greater Columbus Sports Commission, and we are excited to have the opportunity to bring the Classic back to Columbus. We are also grateful to all of our community partners who are helping to make this possible. After an unprecedented year in our industry, the economic impact the Classic can have on the city and local businesses will certainly aid in our quest for a comeback. But also the heart of the Classic will also help us expand our diversity footprint. On behalf of the Greater Columbus Sports Commission, it is my pleasure to say welcome to our beautiful city.
Thank you so much, Celia. Thank you so much. Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide. It's an opportunity to experience the sights and sounds of college football in the African American tradition. Now, for those of you who thought the Classic for Columbus presented by Nationwide is just for African Americans, mistake, it's not. It's for the entire community. And so to talk about that, we have one of the professors, the professor from the Ohio State University. You received his title earlier, and he is the professor for the graduate sports management students at the Ohio State University. And I'm going to tell you, they put together a marketing plan that I am so proud of. I've sent it to about 1,000 people. In fact, I sent it to the leaders at P&G who were almost as impressed as I am. And this marketing study that Dr. Turner is going to talk about can make this Classic for Columbus presented by Nationwide the most diverse Classic in the country, and there's about 50. And so let's hear from Dr. Brian Turner.
Thanks so much, John. It's really an honor for me to represent my sport marketing students here at this press conference. My apologies, power went out at my house about an hour ago, so I'm on an iPad with a hotspot, so I'm not sure about the quality, and there's no light in the house. So my apologies for that. But last fall, John approached me about having our graduate sport marketing class do a project with the charge that he just mentioned to make it a very inclusive event. And the goal is to attract 15% non-African Americans to the festivities surrounding the Classic for Columbus presented by Nationwide. And John mentioned a couple of times, he wanted the students to emphasize that the football game was not just for African Americans, but wanted everyone to experience college football in the African American tradition. One of the challenges back in the fall, the class was completely online, but the students did a lot of work outside of class on this. And I've got to say, in my 17 years at Ohio State, I've never seen students more enthusiastic about a project. The class was divided into groups of 4 or 5, and they presented their projects to John back in late November. Some of the ideas that came out included targeting specific groups. I won't go into great detail, but they have some specific groups they want to target, including college students, especially at Ohio State, who have never seen an HBCU football game, some cultural organizations in the area, and local festivals throughout Columbus during the summer. One group had the idea of an educational component that would really emphasize and focus on the historical relevance and importance of HBCUs throughout history. Overall, like John, I was extremely proud of the work the students did on this project. I'm very fortunate to be their professor, and they deserve all the credit. While this work was done in one specific class, we hope to have other graduate students assist with the implementation of some of these ideas and to work and attend the events in August. So again, thanks, John, for including us. It was, I think it changed students in a very positive way this fall.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. Thank you so very much. And let me say this, I've sat in on a couple of those classes, and not only is Dr. Turner an educator, but he's a wonderful motivator, and he is the glue that can pull a bunch of different ideas together. So thank you so much, Dr. Turner. So that ends all of our speakers for today. Again, let me say thank you all so very much. We, like all others, are dealing with the challenges presented by COVID-19, but in August, I have every belief we are going to be on the other side of this, and we want the entire community to come out and help us host those thousands of people who are going to come into Columbus from all around the country to celebrate. And so this is the Ohio State University football Buckeye country, but I'd like to close by pointing out two very important reasons the football game is important. Now, yes, this is more than a football game, but the reason the football game is important, number one, it is an opportunity for the entire community to come together at the game and celebrate and validate student athletes who are otherwise unsung. And then secondly, I'll repeat what I mentioned earlier, it's an opportunity for inner city youth who unfortunately don't have a lot of role models in their neighborhoods, in their communities, or even in their lives to come and see a stadium filled with accomplished African Americans who can and will serve as role models and mentors. So it's classic time in Columbus, beginning this August, the last week in August. All roads lead to Columbus, Ohio. People want to experience the sights and sounds of college football in the African American tradition. Thank you so much. I think at this time we have questions. You can type your questions into the chat or use your hand raising function, and we will answer your questions at this time. For me or any of the speakers for that matter.
Yeah, so at this time, we'd like to open it up to any and all media. So if you have a question or type it in the chat like John said, or raise your hand and we will monitor that. This is a question for Nationwide. Why did you decide to sponsor this event? This question is from Haley Colombo from Columbus Business First.
Well, thank you for that question. The reason we decided to sponsor this event, as I shared in our remarks, one of our values is that we value people. And because of that, over the years, we have promoted economic empowerment and opportunity through HBCUs across the country over the last decade. And we were excited to see that we had the opportunity to do that in our own backyard here in Columbus. So that is one of the reasons. The other reason I also shared in the remarks is that we as an organization have benefited from the talent that comes from these HBCUs with associates that work here at the executive level, as well as the frontline associates who are products of HBCUs. So those are a couple of the reasons why we decided that it made sense for us to support this event, to make sure that it is a successful one, because we know that what the impact of a great education can have, not only on the trajectory of the individual's life, but everyone that's around them and the greater community.
Fantastic. Any other questions from media? From Columbus Black, outside of the game, what else can attendees expect during the Classic for Columbus Week?
There are 20 events associated with the football game, and they are presented by 20 nonprofit organizations. All of those events fall into one or four categories. Either it's an educational event like the college and career fair. It may be an existential event. The Links are doing an event on human trafficking. Keys to Black Wealth are doing an event. We have two focuses, I should say. One of our primary focuses is health and wellness. The second is financial literacy and wealth building. And so Keys to Black Wealth will be doing a wonderful event. If you've ever been bored with wealth building and financial literacy, you have to experience this. You'll take away some good information, but you will not be bored. So those are some of the existential events. Then we have cultural events like the Step Show. That is when undergraduate and graduate fraternities and sororities compete. It's a syncopated dance competition, and you have to see it. I mean, it's just a cultural experience that cuts across race, age. Come out and see that. And then we have entertainment events, like the main after party that is going to be hosted by the Kentucky State and the Central Ohio alumni chapters. And so you'll have celebrities from all across the country at that event. And you know what? When you come, you're going to be a celebrity too. So we have educational, existential, cultural, and entertainment events. There are 20 events that start on Wednesday and go through Saturday night. And all of these events are put on by local nonprofits, and they are fundraisers for those organizations. So I would close this part of the answer by saying this event is designed so not-for-profits will make over $100,000 that weekend for their causes as well.
Fantastic. Another follow-up question for Columbus Business First. What is the actual venue for the football game?
The actual venue for the football game is the historic Crew Stadium, and that's the stadium the Crew is playing in now.
Fantastic. Question from Reader Fuller Yates from Columbus Black News. How are the local businesses and community included into the weekend?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
You're fine. How are the local businesses and community included into the weekend?
Absolutely. So again, there's over 20 organizations who will do events as fundraisers or as a way to exhibit what they do 365 days a year in the community. Of course, we contract with Black vendors as well. I have to throw this in, right? So normally when we talk about diversity, we're talking about the African-American community, brown and Black people being in the minority. But for this event, when we talk about diversity, we're talking about what Dr. Turner talked about. When we talk about diversity, we're putting forth an effort to make sure that we have 15% non-African Americans. So yes, we're going to contract with Black vendors and Black businesses, but all of the businesses in Columbus. I took a tour of downtown businesses a couple of weeks ago and talked to some of the owners because I wanted to hear firsthand what they were experiencing. And I was quite motivated. And so we're going to drive some business to downtown Columbus with this event, not only this year, but in the future. But I am also very proud to say that Black vendors and Black businesses will have an opportunity to earn some money as well.
Fantastic. And just a follow up for me, how do we go about purchasing tickets and learning more about other sponsorship opportunities?
Absolutely. So with regard to tickets, we all know that we're in the midst of COVID-19, and we're modeling what the crew does. And so right now, the crew, I think, is limited to about 3,500 tickets due to COVID-19. So we've opted to wait putting our tickets on sale until later in the fall or later in the spring or early in the summer. But what we are encouraging the community to do is go to classicforcolumbus.com and look for the reservations button. And what you can do through that button is you can reserve your place in line. So that way, it's just like being first to purchase your ticket or second to purchase your ticket. So please go to classiccolumbus.com and reserve your place in line so that when tickets do go on sale, you will be contacted, first come, first serve, you will be contacted in the sequential order that you reserve. So whoever reserves first will be first, whoever reserves 10th will be 10th, so on and so forth. But we will put tickets on sale once we get a little bit further down the road with this COVID-19 so that we can put more than 3,500 tickets on sale.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
That was the other part of the question. So many organizations, I just have to say kudos to Nationwide. I hope you don't mind me telling this story, Lou. Lou Yarborough, VP at Nationwide. But after that article came out right after Christmas, Lou was very proactive and he said, what is this? And so he vetted our program, he vetted me, and this is where we've wound up. So all organizations, I encourage you to follow the lead of Nationwide. We'd love to talk with you. Over 30 years, one of the things that has made us successful is that we are able to package a cause like raising money for HBCUs and leverage that cause to drive business to organizations like Nationwide. So we are very proficient. So yes, it's a philanthropic opportunity, but we're one of the best in the country at driving business based on your sponsorship. And we have some measurable strategies. We use key performance indicators. We use heat map. We use net promoter scores. So we've got some wonderful tools that makes us one of the best in the country at driving business to our sponsors. So once again, thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you, media. Thank you, Cryo Communications. Thank you, all of Classic for Columbus presented by Nationwide team members. Again, our team has been working extremely hard, over 50 people, almost for a year now. And this August, you are going to see a party with a purpose unlike any Columbus has ever seen. So on behalf of Classic for Columbus, presented by Nationwide, we want to extend you this cordial invitation. Come out the last week in August, experience the sights and sounds of college football in the African American tradition. Thank you all so much. See you in August.